my name is Michelle, and welcome to the WorkMan application. WorkMan is a Windows 10 desktop application that allows for the simple creation, maintenance, and tracking of workflows. As we reviewed in video 2, My First Workflow, WorkMan can be boiled down into 3 simple steps. First, drawing your flow. Next, customizing your data. And finally, adding users. In today's video, we'll focus on how to add users and what effect that has on your WorkMan inbox. Specifically, we'll cover how to find, add, and remove users from workflows in WorkMan, what happens when you add a single user to a step versus when you add multiple users to a step, and we'll explain some of the benefits of this system, especially when teams are geographically dispersed or working internationally. Now let's get started by opening up WorkMan. Let's start by signing into my account. After signing into WorkMan, I'll select the Flower Shop Orders workflow that we also covered in video 2, My First Workflow. And then I'll select Edit Workflow. By default, when you create a new workflow, your user account is added to each step. And as you can see, I'm currently associated with each step in this workflow. And while this is great for testing purposes, in real life you really wouldn't expect one person to take an action for each step. In a real-world situation, you'd be working with a team of different users. And in this case, we have a small flower shop with a couple of different employees, aptly named Jessica, Timothy, and Ryan Flowers. Now, determining where they should be in your workflow really depends on how the organization works. Does each individual have control only over one step, responsibility for doing only one thing, or do multiple employees have the ability to complete a step, and do we kind of share responsibilities of these different tasks in the workflow? So let's start off with that former situation where really each user only has one specific job, one thing that they can work on, and we'll just assign one user to each step. And we'll do that simply by selecting the user icon in this bottom left, dragging it to the step, searching for that user, selecting the username, and then selecting Add User. And we'll go ahead and remove me as well, and all I need to do is select this X here, confirm, and voila, we only have one user here, in this case, Jessica Flowers. And I'll go ahead and repeat the same steps for the rest of these steps in the workflow. Timothy will be in charge of arranging our flowers. And Ryan will be in charge of buying them. Alright, and with that, we'll go ahead and publish our workflow by selecting the play button in the top right. And as you can see, the title of the workflow has turned green, and we know that it's published. So we'll start this off by initiating a new instance of our workflow. And we'll just ask for the congratulations arrangement type, and we'll just add in some notes that we want some sunflowers here. And with that, we'll go ahead and start our new instance of the workflow, and you can see how it will appear in the different inboxes of our employees. So I'll select Submit. Now, as you can see, the work item did not appear in my inbox because I'm not assigned to this particular step. Instead, it will actually be in Jessica's inbox. So what we'll do is we'll sign out and sign in as Jessica. So I'll select my name from the top right and then select Sign Out. I'll get Jessica's information and sign in. Alright, and the first thing you want to notice here is when we're on our home page and we see the list of workflows we're a part of, we get this kind of nice tile here. And the first thing to notice is that the blue number here has gone from 0 to 1. And that just means that we have a single work item here. It's not overdue, it's brand new, and it's in our inbox. So we'll select on the tile, and we'll navigate to the Flower Shop Orders Workflow inbox. And as you can see, we're in our Check Inventory step, and we have our new work item asking for the congratulations arrangement and was submitted earlier today. All right, so we'll go ahead and select this work item. In our case, we have a ton of sunflowers, so we'll go ahead and select the action that they are available, and we'll move on to the next step. As you can see, our inbox is empty, and we'll move on to the next step, which will be taken care of by Timothy. So we'll sign out of Jessica, and we'll sign in as Timothy, who's in charge of arranging our flowers in the next step. And as you can see, once again, we have our workflow tile here, and we have one item that we need to address. All right, and one thing before we move on, it's important to notice that unlike in my inbox, instead of the Edit Workflow button here, we instead have a View Workflow button. And as you can see, this allows the user to view the workflow and really understand where they fit in the scheme of things. And it's a really nice way to understand what the different actions will do, where you're getting the work item from, and really understand what's going on without actually editing the workflow, which we really want to reserve for the person who created it. All right, so we'll go ahead and select the work item. And we'll move on, we'll complete our arrangement, and we'll move the work item on to the last step, which is actually associated with me delivering the flowers. So we'll sign out, sign back in as myself, and as you can see, here it is, the work item in the Deliver Flowers step. And this will just continue on and on as expected between each single user in the workflow. However, this is not always ideal. If there was a large number of orders, we may want the first person available to address the work item instead of kind of waiting on this sequential flow and creating a possibility for bottlenecking. So when we want to account for that, what we want to do is add multiple users to a single step. And when we do this, each user will receive the work item, but it will be removed from everyone's inbox as soon as one person takes an action. So it will just move on based on the first person who addresses it. So we'll go ahead and demo this. So first I'll select Edit Workflow, and I'll add a couple of additional users to the steps. I'll add Timothy to our Check Inventory step. And I'll add myself to the Buy Flowers step. All right, and with that, we'll go ahead and publish. And we can take a look how this will work now that we have multiple users in a single step. So I'll start a new instance. We'll kind of call this arrangement type a thank you. And this is going to be a very special thank you. We want roses here. So we'll go ahead and start this new instance. All right, so as you would expect, nothing is really appearing here in my inbox, but it will appear in both Jessica and Timothy's inbox. So we'll go ahead and sign in as both of those users. So here we are as Jessica, and as you can see, in the check inventory step is this new work item. Now we already know that Jessica is very familiar with checking inventory, so we'll go ahead and see what Timothy's inbox looks like. And here again, you will see the same work item in the same step, also in Timothy's inbox. So we'll go ahead and take a action on this. And we'll say that the roses, they're unavailable, and we're going to need to go to our buy flowers step. And just to kind of do a check here, I'll go ahead and sign back in as Jessica just to show you that the work item has in fact moved on and is no longer in her inbox as well. And as you can see, her inbox is empty and the work item has indeed moved on. All right, so we know that we've moved on to the buying flowers step, so I'll go ahead and sign out and sign in back as myself. And here it is, our thank you work item in the buying flowers step. And as you will expect, the same work item will be in Ryan's inbox. So whichever one of us finishes buying the flowers first can move it on to the next step of our workflow. So as you can imagine, this functionality is extremely helpful for larger teams. It allows for a nearly unlimited number of users to be added to each step, which ensures that the workflow is completed in the most efficient manner. WorkMan is perfect for users working in different locations because work items can reach you anywhere your computer has Wi-Fi. It really makes tracking these data-driven workflows simple and easy for the whole team. All right, so to recap, we've covered how to add users, what happens when you have a single user versus multiple users on one step, and we touched on some of the benefits of this functionality. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the WorkMan application.